Oh yeah, that's way better, way better. Hey, welcome back guys. So today we're going to be swapping out the fuel filters on the fuel pump. Now on the Sportster it is an internal, and I don't know about all Harleys, but I think most modern Harleys have an internal fuel filter. That is going to be a process. The reason it's a process is you got to take the tank off, take the pump assembly out of the tank. So you got to drain the tank, take the tank off, flip the tank, take the assembly out, and then you can swap the filters out and then reassemble, the pump assembly plate and all that back onto the Harley or back onto the tank, put it back onto the bike, put enough gas in it that it can get fuel, and then run it to see if it's fixed the problem. Let's get started. Okay, so I am going to take this tank off. I believe this is a 6mm Allen key and a 13-inch or a 13 millimeter socket. We got to disconnect the fuel snap ring. Take the fuel vent tube off. Unplug the electrical connection. Okay, I got, I'd say 90%, 98% of the fuel out. Okay, so I've got the original cap. I'm just going to screw that back on. Hopefully that's somewhat leak proof, because now what I need to do is I need to flip this over. And anytime you have a surface with multiple screws, you want to just loosen them a little bit at a time. You don't want to warp your part by putting too much torque on one specific area over another. That could cause a leak. You do have a pretty good gasket in this, but okay, on this you got to be kind of careful because that pump is not, it doesn't just pull out. You got to kind of have to work it back and forth. This clip, it looks like this clip had come loose in the tank. Never seen that before. Okay, so the clip that was holding this down came loose. I don't know why, but that'll enable us to get this filter out. We're going to put this new one in there. Take this old O-ring off, which seems to be kind of loose. Put the new O-ring on. Okay. There's what direction that goes in. Put this new filter in. Okay, so we got the new O-ring in. I got the clip on. New filter in there. Okay, so I think what went wrong here. I had trouble taking this out of the tank because this clip had disengaged and it had popped off. The tube that the filter goes into had slid and it was kind of free and it wasn't sealing. You can tell on this filter or on this O-ring. Yeah, there's some torn spots there, so it wasn't sealing well. Plus, this clip had disengaged, so I put this zip tie on it to hold it tighter, and it was allowing the filter tube to come off, and I think it was pressurizing gas back into the tank instead of shooting it down through the fuel line. And the reason for that is this tube was putting a lot of pressure on it. So I added this zip tie here to hold this tube down a little bit so it wouldn't put pressure this way onto this, because it was knocking this out like that. Putting a lot of pressure on the O-ring and allowing it to slip. So this holds it a lot squarer. So now I'm gonna put it back into the tank. Just want to clean up around the bottom of this. So hopefully we get a good seal. This tank channel or tunnel out. Alright, so now we got to make sure that this gasket is in there. Don't expect there'll be any problem sealing it back up. But this can be kind of a pain in the neck to get in. Might need to push your wires in separately. Just make sure you don't clip the zip tie here before I put it all the way in. Probably a good idea. Yellow jacket. Die. We're pretty much good to go here. Now we just need to get the filter in, or the pump in, and we need to put our screws back in. Again, you don't want to crank these down. You may want to, good practice to stagger them. Okay guys, I apologize about the sound. I didn't realize my mic was not plugged in. Oh, what happens when you're worried about things other than what you're doing. Okay. So I'm going to slide this back into place. When I put my lift on it, this became a little problematic, but there we go. Got that on. Got to get my bolt in. And your Allen head comes in from the same side as your other Allen head. We need to plug our drain line back in. It's right here. That's just if we overflow the tank or the expansion of the fuel when it gets hot. That's what that takes care of. Gonna plug our tank back in, or plug our electrical back in. It's for the fuel pump. Should click, but my clicker is busted, so I haven't had a problem yet, knock on wood. And then we're going to get our tank plug back, our fuel line plug back in. There we go, snapped in. Okay. Clip here for this line. Okay. So that's holding that in. Okay, before I put the seat back on, I'm going to put some fuel in here and then we'll see if it runs. Then I'll put the seat back on and take it for a ride. See if we fix the issue. Okay, so I got the pump all back together, got it back in the tank, got the tank on, got the seat back on. I was overzealous and I momentarily forgot that I had a burn on my foot, which prevents me from wearing a hard boot. So for safety reasons, I may not be able to ride it today unless I can figure out a way to get a hard boot on my foot without, you know, crushing pain, I guess you might call it. But that'll be it for today. If I don't have a ride test on here, I really do need to get a ride test on this because it was idling fine. It was just when I went out on the road and under load, that's when the pump was really straining. But like I said earlier in the video, I think it was leaking through the tube because the tube was cockeyed, and that ring washer that's meant to seal it, I don't think was making a good seal because it was partly torn, and like I said, the tube was cockeyed. So it wasn't sitting square on there. And I think it was pushing fuel back into the tank, which would prevent it from pushing fuel at the right pressure into the fuel tube to go into the injectors. So I think that's what it was. But like I said, I feel better about getting a test. I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that done today. But until next time, guys, keep your sword tight and get out and ride.
Oh yeah, that's way better, way better. But, take a few more test rides and see